And we are live. All right. Welcome everyone to newest Toonkind D&D. This is called Special Delivery. So first thing I'm going to do, my name is Kraken. That's important. My name is Kraken and I'll be your DM today. So let's go down the order and everyone introduce themselves and who you'll be playing today, please.
That's me. I'm Brandon, and I will be playing Lotusss. They are a Florin and or a Florin themed Toonkind. Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up.
Hello, fine folks. I'm Gabriel Wrigley, also known as the Hazard 100, and I'll be playing Sebby, a Frankenlean pirate paladin who serves the goddess, the Toonkind goddess of storms and water.
Nice.
Sorry for that.
Not a problem. And last but not least.
Hello, my name is Kempuku, and I'm playing Benedetti, a Frankenelli ex-journalist who decided to explore the world to make a documentary movie. So you'll see him like carrying a big camera all the time and recording stuff.
Oh. All right. And with that, it's time to get cracking. So, it is a fine day out in the UPA capital city of Valestown, and a very last-minute announcement was actually put out basically the night before by one Admiral Abbigull of the ship the Salty Squabble. And again, last minute, she basically put out a whole bunch of flyers all around the dockside just saying she needed crew, any crew. She needs people and bodies in hand. She doesn't really specify anything beyond just special delivery. She could really use people for it. So my question to you all, down the order again, just to make it simple, is, why has your character decided to take up this call?
Probably for monies to get meats.
Always a valid reason.
Sebby's a fellow pirate. He never leaves another pilot out to sea. He always is lending a helping hand to pirate folk.
All right.
Since the movie Benedetti is recording is about Anquil and it's more of a documentary about every part of it, he decided that traveling a ship would be a good way to make from one place to another in a cheap way, because money is not like it's something a problem. So yeah, taking a work, making a little bit money and see if he gets good film material there.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty good deal for Benedetti because he will get paid to make this journey. So instead of losing money, he's actually gaining a bit. There you go. All right. So the three of you have now converged at Dock 23, which is where the advertisement said to show up at a specific time on this date. And in Dock 23, you see, there certainly is a ship docked here. I'm going to drop this picture in the game zone. It doesn't really need to be pinned. It's just a visual of what we are looking at here. And there she is. So the Salty Squabble, as you can see, is two-masted staysail schooner. She looks pretty decent for a ship. She's not too run down. She's not exactly sparkling. Clearly a working ship. But she's here. She looks not falling apart, and she looks ready to go. You don't actually see anyone ready waiting for you. So, what do you do as you start to approach this ship?
Sebby is going to yell, "Hey! Over there! How are you?"
Is anyone else going to do something, or are you just going to let Sebby break the silent
I'm
morning
just gonna
silence?
make sure this is the ship I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, you look down at, I assume you probably have like the sort of flyer with you. Look down. Yeah, name seems to match, birth seems to match. Seems in order.
Is there a way to get inside the ship?
There is a gangplank set on the dock that leads up. There's currently a little line across it that says, ship closed, but, at Sebby's opening yell, yeah, it was a little hard to see because the banister is a bit high on the quarterdeck, but a pretty small little blue bird hops up on there, shades her eyes with her wings, squints out at y'all, and just goes, "Ah, hello, perfect, wonderful." Takes a little jaw pump flight. It's not a smooth flight. It's a little janky as she just flutters her way down to the dock, but she lands beside her gangplank and just waits for you all to finish approaching if you haven't.
Yeah, Sebby is the first to approach this, and he's like, "Ah, there's our employer. How are you?" And he tries to shake the bird's hand very vigorously.
She does hold out her wing and, shakes your hand right back. Are we doing the thing where we try to, grip harder than the other?
As in, who shakes harder?
Oh, it's a competition now. Maybe roll a d20 to see who shakes harder. I don't know. Abbigull's competitive.
D20 plus 2 plus strength.
Is that your strength?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do d20 plus strength, which is it's actually +1 for her. Okay, that's a 3. It's a 3 from Abigail. She's little. She's little, and she's quite clearly an older Toon. She's not a spring chicken. Sebby just pumps this arm up and down extremely enthusiastically, and she just lets it happen. She might even bounce in place a little.
Yes, it's good to see you.
"Oh, Wally, you too, you fine sir." And then she casts her one good eye on the other two. She just goes, "I take it you're also here to come aboard?"
Yes.
Yes.
All right, delightful. And then she kind of leans around to look past all of you, seeing if there's anyone else who looks like they're here. She's like, okay. 3 is a good number. I wasn't necessarily even expecting 3. Yeah. Glad people got my call. Alrighty then, come aboard. She unhooks the line that says ship closed and starts up the gangplank and motions for you to follow.
Yeah, Sebby is first to follow, and he says, "I'm always willing to help a sailor in need."
Oh, that's a fine quality to have. Now, before we begin, this is only an afternoon jaunt, but can I catch all your names, please? I am Admiral Abbigull.
I am Lotusss.
Well, nice to meet you, Lotusss.
Benedetti Caso, nice to meet you. With a less rogue handshake.
Uh-huh. Shakes right back. All right. So you are now on the deck of the Salty Squabble. You are here, and Abigail just goes, "All right. You're here now. As I said, this will be a special delivery I'm making. What I didn't kind of say is kind of bunch of scheduling conflicts. It really got out of hand, and then a bunch of people went to Drogue instead of me for asking for leave. But the point is, a bunch of people had family emergencies or used vacation. We're really low on crew, so I am glad there is 3 of you, because that definitely bolsters our numbers. So you don't need to do anything strenuous. You don't need to know anything about sailing. Essentially, you're just going to be keeping an eye on what I am delivering. Speaking of Drogue, there's the man himself, and she points up to the quarterdeck where a frilled lizard has come out and is climbing the stairs to the helm, and he just kind of looks back at this, sees you all there, looks kind of distinctly unimpressed. "Give her a wave, Drogue!" yells Abbigull. He just kind of...
And Sebby sort of walks up to this lizard and says, "Aye, you must be the captain here." And he starts vigorously shaking his hand.
Drogue is not as enthusiastic about this as Abbigull. He lets it happen, but he's not really shaking back. He's just letting his arm go. Flip, 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 flip. And he just kind of looks at you all a little dispassionately and goes, "Well, I am the first mate. Abbigull is the captain. The rank is a little confusing, but yes. Welcome aboard."
You don't sound
And he
very
just kind of gives you all a
enthusiastic.
nod. "Well, oh, Drogue is just sore because we don't have time to vet you all," says Abbigull, and just kind of like slaps Drogue on the back. And Drogue, doesn't disprove this at all. He just lets the slap happen and then says, "Yeah, I'll finish up that chart work now," turns and starts heading up the stairs towards the helm. And yep, that's the first mate, says Abbigull. Super cheery. He's a bit of a sourpuss, but don't mind him. Good worker, good worker. So, actually, we'll need to join him to iron out the last thing. So in order to give you the tour, we're going to need someone else. And she just tilts her head back super far, opens her beak, and like yells at the top of her lungs, "Aloft!" An answering call comes from above you. "On deck? Quit messing with the MD and come give these landlubbers the tour." And if you look up, you'll see there is a little figure who is in the rigging. They're way up on the mainmast, the taller mast on the platform. And they do indeed quit whatever it is they're doing. They grab a rope that leads all the way to deck, and they slide on down. Shoop! And it's a bit of a stumble. It's a bit of a hard landing on deck, but, they stick it very well. They stand up. Just go, "Okay, the tour? Hello."
Hello.
And of course, Sebby's going to go up and shake his hand vigorously.
This Toon, this is a sort of mid-sized rat Toon in ratty clothing, which is a bit stained by things. And again, Sebby just vigorously shakes this hand, and it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. "Okay, hello. Hello."
Yes. It's good to see you, Phil. Good to see 3 sailors on this ship. The other 2 are sort of fine.
"Oh, I'm sure they're grand," says Abbigull, and well, I was about to say she gives a wink to the other 2, but one eye is X'd out. She always looks like she's winking. So she just kind of blinks at you. Rat Toon, takes his hand back, shakes it out a little, dusts himself off, says, "So, I'm Bilge Rat. I take it you're here to help us out."
Hey, the name's Sebby. Sebby of the Storm.
Ooh, Sebby of the Storm, says Abigail. She likes the alliteration, the dramaticism.
I'd be a paladin, to be exact.
Oh, delightful. And Bildrat kind of nods. He's like, okay. I don't think I've actually met a paladin before. That's kind of neat, actually. What about you two?
I am Lotusss, the Florin Huntress. And Lotusss likes is a ranger.
Ooh.
I'm Benedetti. I'm ex-journalist, now recording a movie, a documentary of all around Enklo.
Okay, Bildrat actually looks really interested in that as you say it. Also, okay, you said earlier that Benedetti would probably be kind of have a camera with him and filming stuff. Has he started doing any of that, or is that just kind of in his hammer space or something right now?
Yes, yeah, he's first like taking the mental notes of the plays, which plays could be better for record. He's getting the planning of the recording that's gonna be later.
Okay, so I'm just envisioning a little less focused on greeting people, more like craning his neck around, having a look at things, observing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yep, Abigail takes flight again, skips the stairs to the quarterdeck entirely, lands up there, and toddles off. She's clearly handed the reins over to her deckhand. So Bildrat just kind of motions, all right, follow me, and takes you to the bow of the ship, down a hatch. You are now inside the Salty Squabble. And he leads you through the bow of the ship where the crew sleep. You pass by what looks like the kitchen, the galley, and you go into what makes up the bulk of this ship, because it becomes pretty clear, even just looking at this, that Abigail's bread and butter, her trade, this is a cargo ship. She moves and delivers things, and yeah, it is full of boxes, full of materials, and it's all stacked pretty high and crowded. There's a path leading through here, but it's kind of winding just around things. And so Bildrat starts leading you through here, and as you round a corner, first thing you see, the obvious thing is, oh, this is a big crate. This is huge. I don't know how. Are any of you like tall Toons?
I mean, seven, all one.
Let me check real quick on height.
Just like generally, would you
6'6".
Woo! That was Lotusss, right? Lotusss is tall.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is like.
And Sebby is like 5'7".
Like 1 meter 18. I don't know how to use the other.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't need specific answers. I just like this is a big crate. If we're going by Lotusss is 6'6", she probably just like is barely taller than this thing. It is just a gigantic box crate, and it is lashed down. There are just like stickers haphazardly pasted all over it that say things like danger, fragile, this side up. And then this side up actually is pointing the correct way, which is good. There's handles on the sides that are also like lashed down. They're tied to the floor. This thing isn't going anywhere.
What's inside the box? I ask.
And Bildrat kind of scratches an ear and goes, well, I don't know the details of what's in there. I just kind of know what to do to not make it volatile. That's a better question for Hauser, actually. And as if on cue, there's footsteps behind y'all, and if you turn around, the crate is big. this Toon is also big. Probably not as tall as Lotusss or anything, but just big as in broad. This is a Toon that looks like, on first glance, it looks like a cactus. It's all green and prickly, but closer inspection, it's just piles and piles of like thick mooring rope that's compiled into the general shape of a person. And, oh, he's big. And looks at y'all, raises his big, huge hands, and signs, "Oh, hey there! I'm Hauser. Nice to meet you," in Toon Sign Language.
Greetings.
Greetings.
And Hauser nods at y'all, waves back, and he actually reaches out first to shake all your hands. Just,
Yeah, I'll shake his hand.
yeah, it's like a single, one up, down.
Yep.
Yeah, moves down the line, just says hi, and Hauser continues, "So, yeah, I couldn't help overhearing you asking my buddy what's up. This stuff," and he goes as if to smack the box, but then, like, remembers himself and just gives it a very gentle pat. This is pixie dust.
Pixie dust?
This is a
Yeah, how about if any of you want to roll, I guess, history or arcana?
Ooh.
See what you already know about this substance.
Well, let me roll. History.
All right.
Matata is not good with brain stuff.
20.
Whoa, dirty 20 from Benedetti.
Sebby is not good with brain stuff.
Everything you.
All right. Is Benedetti the only one that's going to try and see what they already know? Just the bard. Okay, so...
Yeah, I don't have any history or arcana.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, Benedetti, I guess, being a sort of journalist and documentary person, yeah, you've run across this stuff before. Maybe not in person, but you know of it. Pixie dust is mostly famous for, it's something that if it's sprinkled on something, it'll make it float. It'll make you fly. That is definitely its most common use, what it is most famous for. And with a dirty 20, I'm going to say the common sort of conception is that the ingredients to make one fly this stuff is you need the pixie dust, you need some faith, some trust, and happy memories. That dirty 20 tells you that, yeah, the faith and trust, maybe, but it's kind of been proven a bit through research that the happy memories bit is kind of a folk myth. You can certainly think happy things, but it won't really affect how effective pixie dust will be at making things float. And that dirty 20, I think, will also tell you that it's not the most dangerous substance out there. It's not like super explosive, but it's environmentally sensitive. It reacts to people's emotions, faith and trust, and that's kind of where people get the whole happy memories assumption from. It reacts to its environment. It doesn't react well to being jostled or even kind of, as the folklore say, kind of discontent and disharmony. So environmentally volatile, you probably don't want it shaking about, so how it's lashed down to not move, yep, seems reasonable.
And Sebby sort of
Let's
looks
talk
at the
through
box
something
and
here
says,
first,
"So, where exactly are we sending this pixie dust?"
Was someone else talking here or in the background of someone? I just heard Sebby, and I don't know if the second voice was someone else. Just Sebby? Okay. So, Bill Drathison jumps in and says, yeah, where we're taking action not far at all. We're in Villestown, so we're pretty close to the little bit of land that connects, like, the Pixar Protectorate and UPA. Yeah, I understand. We're just going, not even to a port really, just a little dock right near that isthmus. I don't know who we're delivering to. That bit is not my business. That's not me. That's in the paperwork, not in my lane. Couldn't tell you.
So we're delivering a substance that could be dangerous. That's interesting. Well,
Well,
I tell it to the other crew members. I just gonna say to be careful with that stuff.
all right, yeah. Do you kind of pass on, the general, I never remember how to pronounce, general gist of what I told you to your fellow party members? Or is it just kind of the bit that it's volatile?
I only gonna tell them that be careful with that box, with that crate.
All right.
And Sebby sort of looks and says, "Why exactly we should be careful with the crate?"
Do you want to answer that, Benedetti?
Pixitus can be volatile in some sense. It can react harshly to emotions and all that stuff. So it's better if you stay if you don't stay too close to it.
And Hauser just gives a big nod. This is kind of, about the extent of precautions. They've already secured it down. And he tells you, your job is basically, you're going to be in the hold. You're going to be keeping an eye on this. Should be fine. It's only a couple hours too. And I believe that's about it. And sort of claps his hands together and says, well, I'm going to check in with the captain and mate, and we'll probably be leaving soon. And he kind of heads out the way that you guys came in. And I think, we'll just have it that Bill Trent Folsom gives you guys, like, a little double thumbs up. You're going to be great. And I think we're going to jump to the Salty Squabble has now cast off her lines. She is away from the mooring. Her sails are up. The wind is blowing, and she is on her way down the coast. And it is a beautiful day out here in Inkwell. The sun is shining. It's sparkling off the water. Ship's moving at a pretty decent clip. Unfortunately, you three are seeing basically none of this because you are down in the hold. There are a couple portholes that go outside, but they're not very big. You are in the hold. It's going to quickly become quite boring. You're getting paid, but this is quite boring. So how are you entertaining yourselves and or each other?
My dad is singing a pirate shanty.
Ooh. Are you just going, or are you trying to teach the other two this shanty?
Just going.
Okay. Lotusss, Ben, what are you doing to entertain yourselves or each other?
All right.
I'm gonna just talk about some of my hunting adventures.
Nice. Benedetti, is this like a captivating subject to you?
All right, I believe it is time to make what I really came from. I unpacked the recording stuff, a big camera, from the big camera that had these reels on top, and I start the recording. First, I'm gonna focus on what people is doing at the inside, like having a glimpse of what happens in a ship. He's pretty much silent right now. He's not giving He's not narrating anything at all. He's just like catching this scene.
Nice. So you're all essentially doing your own thing. Benedetti's just like capturing Sebby just singing his heart out to like Randy Dandio or something. Lotus, I don't know if Lotus has noticed that no one is super paying attention, but it's just telling all sorts of fun tales, and that's getting caught on camera too.
Along with Sebby's songs to the storms.
So that probably means, yeah, Lotus and Sebby, you're kind of distracted doing your own thing. Ben, it seems pretty specifically paying attention to what's around you with your camera. So do you just want to do like a general sort of perception maybe on the whole around you? What are you seeing around here? What's capturing your interest as a documenter?
Excuse me?
Basically, I'd just like you to roll a general perception for the space you're in the hold. See what you can see.
Oh, perception?
Yeah.
Alright. Let me just...
Ooh! It's a 23. All right.
He's good
so
at
you are... Say again?
He's good at his job.
Yes, he is.
That's a
Very
nat
good.
20.
Yes, it is. So, with that
Nice.
20... Oh, I have a list of other materials that are just lying around here. You're just straight up, I guess, poking around this entire hold and seeing what's up. And one of the things you see is just the other things that Abbigull is transporting or dropping off or things. So you see things like crates that have the word bricks stamped on them and scribbled afterward in a hasty scrawl of throwing. You see like crates of checkered paint. There's cans of
So
worms.
Cans
There's
of
like-
worms?
I think it might
Yeah.
be done. Possibly.
They're straight up labeled like cans of worms. They're stored in barrels. You peek inside a slightly open crate. It's just stuffed to the gills with like, those rubber geese that you squeeze and they scream. Stuff like that. There's one corner that seems just dedicated to barrels of soda and root beer.
Alright, so it's basically like different type of stuff. Not focusing anything in general, right?
No, it seems like Abigail just delivers whatever is handy at the time. It doesn't seem there's a specific special focus. And considering you got that nat 20 in perception, it's been a while. I'm going to have you all roll perception, and Ben, you're going to get advantage.
Perception once again?
Perception. Let me check my perception.
With advantage, right?
With advantage for Ben, because you're already looking around, and you already had that nat 20 for it.
Perception is perception. I'm still trying to get used to D&D character sheets on D&D. Perception
problem.
is would it be the passive wisdom perception or
Let me have a look at the sheet. So you're working with D&D Beyond, yeah? Kind of in the middle of the page, as I'm looking at it, you've got a list of skills.
yeah.
A bit down the way is perception, and it's under wisdom, so
Oh,
your wisdom modifier.
perception. Okay,
Probably.
so D20 plus 1.
Okay. So, only one of you hears this. Ben, even with your advantage, you don't catch exactly what I was looking for here. You're too busy looking at everything else. Sebby is still belting his heart out for songs for the sea. Lotusss, you are a ranger. You are a hunter. You're used to being very aware of your surroundings and keeping an ear out and eye out for things. You catch what is to you is the faint but very distinctive sounds. Pitter patter of feet inside this hold. And you haven't seen anyone else come in.
Guys, Lotusss thinks someone's here with us.
Sebby sort of pauses mid-song and says, what?
I heard someone walking.
Eh. So we either have a stowaway or a raiding or a raider party.
Okay, so the word stowaway specifically brought up, and this time you all hear like a sort of like squeak and and like pattering of feet moving away from you.
Now I hear it.
I just turned to see where that sound came from.
All right. Are you going to try to find this person yourself, or are you going to try and get someone, alert them to the situation first?
I'm gonna try for look at the person, still with camera at hand.
Sebby's going to look for the also help look for this person.
Same.
All right. Oh, I didn't think ahead of what kind of role this would be.
Investigation?
Investigation, yeah. All of you, please roll me an investigation.
Ooh. I was gonna say, considering I'm like a hunter
Unless you have
and
an argument
tracking.
for another role you'd like.
Yeah, like hunting
Oh,
and
yeah.
tracking,
Yeah.
survival would be, right?
Oh, that's extremely good. Yeah, if you'd like to roll survival, then go right ahead. That's great.
That roll was for survival.
That was you rolling that hazard?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And my investigation is even worse.
Well, predictably, Lotusss comes in clutch with a 21, which carries Ben's, modest 12 and Sebby's 4. Oh yeah, lady luck on that. So Lotusss just, absolutely leads the way, just sure as anything, knows exactly where she's going, goes to the crates, and because your ranger even moves specifically like to box in this mystery intruder, they are now in a corner. They're backed up, and as you turn a corner in a sort of small labyrinth of boxes, there's sort of like a gecko Toon pressed up against the wall, looking a bit harried and going, Hello.
Hi. What are you doing on the ship?
I'm crew, they say.
Sebby sort of
Very
glares and
brightly.
says, you sure you ain't a stowaway?
Stowaway?
Because-
What? Me? No. Who's heard of stowaways? No. I'm crew. I am crew of the stalwart squabble. Yes.
Can I roll insight?
Yes.
Also like to roll insight.
Same.
Go for it.
He's looking sus.
Gecko kind of sus, not gonna lie. Oh, that tea is stone cold. Oh, yeah. You all rolled well. Lotusss. Oh, Lady Luck's favoring you. You got a 20. Everyone else also rolled really high. You are not fooled for a single second. You look at this gecko and you're like, sure, Jan. And the gecko kind of picks up that you're not picking up, but he's laying down and he's looking a little panicked at being cornered by 3 people. So you have a stowaway. What are you going to do with him? Are you going to deal with him yourself? Or are you going to go alert someone?
Well, first off, Sebby's going to grab this stowaway by the tail.
Ah!
And sort of like, all right, buddy. You ain't fooling anyone with that act. So, what should we do with him, lads?
You should let me go, says the gecko.
I think we should take them up to the deck and see what the captain wants to do with them.
And the gecko winces.
That sounds like a fair plan. Sebby said
Right.
and keeps holding up the gecko by its tail.
Yeah, its sticky little hand legs are just flailing around as you carry it by the tail with nothing to hold on to. I take it you're all going up on deck?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You follow back the way you came. You go up the hatch. You are now on the deck of the Salty Squabble. Because you basically comprise half the crew that are currently on the ship, there is only 4, official members of the Salty Squabble. You can probably see that both Abbigull and Drogue are way at the other end of the ship at the helm. Bildrat and Hawser are midships, and they're tending the foresail right now, just giving it a little adjust. They haven't noticed you yet because they're focused on this task.
I want to call out to the captain.
All right.
Sebby sort of calls out first, like saying, "Hey, Captain! I think we have ourselves a stowaway."
And Abigail's head pops up in the distance, and you just hear go, "What?"
I said we have a stowaway.
Hold on, I take my ears aren't what they used to be. And yep, flaps her wings. She doesn't fly all the way to you because the wind will be working against her. She's not the smoothest flyer anymore. So she kind of gets about halfway, does her landing, and then does the sort of seagull waddle up towards you. And seeing that you have this gecko held by the tail kind of clues into what's going on a bit. Goes, oh, well. Huh. So where'd you find him?
In the storage.
In the storage. Well. And this has kind of caught everyone else's attention by now. Drogue stays where he is because he is now manning the helm. He already was, but Abigail basically left him back there. He's steering the ship. Hawser stays where he is, it looks like he decides to, and Bildrat just sees us, immediately beetles over to get a closer look. And Bildrat just goes, hold on. You found him where?
In the storage.
Okay. And you are you sure this is a stowaway?
I could tell through his sort of acting. He's not a good liar.
And Alva just kind of goes like, ha! Well, excellent job! Good. And now it's time for the interrogation, I suppose, although I kind of feel like I know you're here to steal my stuff, little lizard. And Bildrat just kind of like twitches and goes like, wait, hold, Yeah. Oh, can I ask a question? Before we do any of that, before we get mean, I'm going to ask a question.
Sebby sort of like points to Build Rat and says, "All right, go ahead and ask."
Uh, before, since these are really good and spicy scenes, Benedetti takes another camera and uses Scene Servant to record from 2 angles.
Oh,
This is
that's
really
so cool.
This is a really good descent.
It's a good scene, and that's a cool use of Mage Hand. Should we just assume that basically for this entire adventure the camera is rolling?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. So
one that he's using and one that appears that it's floating around.
very nice. So Abigail doesn't look very impressed with this, but she does sort of fold her wings and not interfere as Bildrak kind of delicately picks forward, gets closer to this gecko who's looking a bit red-faced from being upside down so long. She says, "Hey, buddy. So, do you know how you got here?" And he's going to roll insight as well.
It will be at advantage because Sebby is holding him by the tail.
Yeah. And before I roll the insight, I'll have the gecko respond. And the gecko, red-faced, not very articulate, still kind of flailing around and trying to break the grasp, even though he never succeeded all the way up, and he is now thoroughly surrounded. Just goes, "How did I get... What can I quit? I mean, no, I don't know how I got here. Oh, God. Oh, I just woke up here, man. I don't know. So Bildrat's going to take that answer and do an insight. Oh, shit. Okay.
Nat 20!
Bildrat is looking so closely at this gecko. There's like just intense scrutiny, and as the gecko says this, like his expression, which was kind of like, "Hey buddy," closes off, just door shutter slams, and just straightens up, looks at Abigail and says, "Oh, this Pecker's a fucking liar."
Aye.
That is a silly. Oh.
You be a thunder fool.
And
Disturbance here.
Yeah, Abigail just claps her wings here and says, "All right, well, that's the break for them." Before we do that, though, she points a wing right at the gecko and says, "All right, Sonny, who you working for? Who sent ya?" And the gecko, who seems to have cottoned on that every time he opened his mouth, it has not gone well for him at all, says nothing. Like, literally makes the mime of zipping his mouth shut, and as he does so, like, the mouth zippers shut.
Sebby sort of glares at him and says, "You know, I could throw you overboard. Maybe a quick dip can open the whole hinges."
That's an intimidation right there. Is anyone else going to jump in on this?
Yeah. I hear cooked gecko tastes nice.
All right. In this scene, I'm gonna. I'm guessing from a sneak into a cannibalism. So, holy hell!
Intimidation.
This is gonna be a movie.
You're all terrible. This is great. This poor gecko.
I feel bad for the gecko.
I mean, off the bat,
Oof, that one wasn't as good.
Sebby did a dirty 20 on threatening to dip this guy in the ocean. Probably helped by the fact that he specifically used the word dip. And Lotusss is not far behind with a 15 on the threat of eating. So if Ben isn't going to go, yeah, that's plenty enough to freak this gecko out. The mouth is still zippered, but the eyes are wide. They're kind of shaking a little. And Abbigull just kind of goes like, well, I mean, I probably couldn't make much of a better threat myself, but even as she says this, there's a sudden ding, 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 ding from behind you all. As you look around, you see there's a ship's bell mounted on one of the masts of the ship, and it's used for like announcing the time, meal times. When it's a continuous ring like this, that's an emergency. Hawser is ringing this thing for all he's worth, and he points out at the sea. Perception or investigation or whatever other sort of roll. Hawser wants you guys to see something.
I'm going to roll perception because investigation is not my strong suit.
I'm gonna roll perception because it makes more sense.
Benedetti is still looking at the scarlet gecko. Still recording the suffering of that poor creature.
Ben is like staring with his eyes and with his two cameras, and this might be wigging the gecko out more than anything else.
I got a 14.
Woo!
Hold on, let me double check. Perception as +1. Okay.
A 9, a 14, and 11. Okay. So, you all take a peek. I'm going to roll a perception for Abbigull as well, actually. D20 plus. Where's her sheet? Oh! Okay.
Oh my.
21. So, you all look out, you follow Hawser's pointer finger, and yeah, there's a ship. This doesn't seem unusual. It's, you're on the ocean, you're on a trade route, there's bound to be ships around, but this ship, you all can notice, has turned its course. It's heading for you, and even as you notice this, timed by the fate of the gods or whatever, just super convenient or inconvenient in this case, you all hear the engines, which have been going in addition to the sail, the engines die. And the salty squabble is not moving nearly as fast in the water. There's a breeze, but it's not giving you any sort of significant go.
Sebby then looks back at the gecko, sort of glaring at it, and says, "All right, what did you do?"
The gecko's lips are still shut, and the gecko's looking
open.
How do you do this?
Strength.
You're gonna try and pry this gecko's mouth open? Okay, please.
Yes.
You're doing it with one hand because you're still holding him by the tail.
Yes.
So I think maybe disadvantage.
Small mouth, so I don't imagine you're going to need two hands to open the mouth.
Maybe not. All right, so yeah, just roll me a straight. As you're trying to lever this gecko's mouth open, Abbigull has brought out of her hammer space a pair of binoculars that one side, the side that goes over her bad eye, it's just taped over. She brings it up to her face and she takes a peek and she goes, "Pollywog." I don't know a pollywog. What the heck is this? Who are you? Pollywog gecko. Well, I suppose that makes a kind of thematic sense. What is this? And just puts down her binoculars and I was like, well, I mean, yep, all right. All hands to repel borders, everyone. Sebby, meanwhile, you rolled a 9 for prying open this gecko's mouth.
Hard to open the mouth when you're using one hand. And
yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, you couldn't quite get the grip. You almost get it. There's a bit of space pride. You sort of reach for the end of the mouth and make the unzippering motion back, but it's like the zipper catches by the sheer strength of this gecko's refusal, and you can't move it past like a centimeter.
Little help, lad.
Do you help?
Yeah, I want to help.
Roll me strength.
Strength. Okay, let me check strength real quick. Skills. No, not skills. Ability saves. Strength. Yeah. Finish point D. I got an 18.
Okay, so Lotusss jumps in, grabs a hold, and just like, and it's like ripping off a band-aid. It's not much, just like a smooth yank, unzips that mouth, and it was like a little from the gecko. That hurts. He like almost pulled a bit too far back. Almost gave him a Glasgow grin. He's just like, ow, haha. And still hanging upside down, but looks a bit more, not at peace, but a bit happier to know that there's presumably, their ship is coming for him.
Who are you? Who are you working for?
I'm just like gecko number 7, man. I don't know.
Gecko number
And
7. Sebby says with confusion.
yeah, sure. There's a lot of us. It gets confusing.
Great. Looks like we're going to be raided by geckos.
There's at least 7.
And so you figure that out, and Squabble's dead in the water. This ship is approaching, and Abbigull just whips around, points at Sebby and Bildrat, since Sebby is still holding the gecko, and says, okay, you two, that one, in the brig. The rest of you, we got a problem.
Aye, aye. Shall I put him in a jar?
If you can stuff him in there, I don't see why not.
Right. Now, Sebby's going to try and find a jar to put the gecko in.
Are you going to try and pull that out like hammer space?
Yep.
All right.
His space is going to be pirate-themed.
Yeah. That's rolling a d10, I believe, to see if you get a jar.
So we have dangerous cargo and adventure in the sea, pirates. This is gonna be a blast of a movie.
He's just having the time of his life right now.
Guys, don't say like something bad, but Benedetti is almost grinning at the approach because of all the carnage that he's gonna record.
Oh man. Okay, so anyway, Sebby rolled a 2, which was not a 1, which means you get a jar. Billrat's going to start leading you down to where the brig is, and in the meantime, you can go ahead and like try to stuff this gecko in there.
Yeah, he's going to try and stuff the gecko into the jar, which I probably think is sort of like the kind of jar you put pickles in.
Amazing. This will be a low roll because this is great. Roll me strength. Well, luckily that roll though was a 5, so it takes a lot of shoving and cramming. The gecko number 7 is fighting back. He's squirming. It's squirmy, and you're just like stuffing him in there like you would put a sleeping bag into a bag that's a bit too small for it. But you get him in there. You close the lid.
I punch the hole.
I
punch some hole.
Yes. You punch some holes for him. Very good. Maybe there's even room to put like a leaf for him to munch in there. And yeah, Gecko's in a jar. And Bildrat has gotten the keys to open up the brig, so the Gecko is now in the brig, in a jar. Double confinement.
Yep. And says,
And
as soon as we get back to land, you're going to jail.
the Gecko just muffled. And Bildrat closes the door, locks the key, and puts the key back on the wall, and he's like, okay, time to fight at least 6 other geckos, I guess. Pitter patter.
Aye. And he heads back with the build rat.
And we're now going to take a moment because I'm going to put something into maps. I'm going to put a map into maps.
Always good to have a map in maps.
Oh, man. Bit of blank spots with transparency, but as you can see, this is a map of the Salty Squabble, the interior. So, for this combat, before we roll initiative, you're all going to decide where on this ship you want to be to either, fight the oncoming boarders or solve a problem. Because the engines are down, but enemies are coming.
Sebby's certainly going to be in the front lines.
All right, so they're gearing up, you can see, to arrive by doing the thing where they swing off their ship on lines and just land on deck. So the front line of the fighting is going to be on the deck.
Yep.
All right, Sebby, stay in there.
Benedetti is going to also stay in the front because that's where the best crews are going to be. And well, hope and get slaughtered.
And Lotusss, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna sit in the middle area with my Yakula out.
Well, yeah, I had to look up what that weapon was. I was like, what is that? Super neat.
Yeah.
Right. So you're all going to be staying on the foredeck to meet these guys head on?
Yep.
Okay. So that means Abbigull and Drogue are going to be up on the quarterdeck, both at the helm. They're going to be handling having these ships not, crash into and wreck each other and also not crash into any obstacles or the shore or anything. Bildrat is getting out his crossbow, and he's saying Bildrat gets out his crossbow, like, okay, if you all stay here, I'm going to climb up into the rigging. I'm going to go to the main top, and I'll provide cover from above. Sound good?
Hey, I'll be the shield.
All right. And Hauser is a barbarian. So Hauser is also inclined to want to stay on deck, clobber these guys head on.
Hey, you and me. Let's go kick some gecko butt.
Hauser holds out a hand for a high five.
Huh? And he high-fives Hauser.
Oh, yes. All right. So that's where you're all going to be. During this combat, you can move around the ship as you like. For the interest of movement in a turn, you probably all have the regular 30 feet of movement per turn. With that 30 feet, you can move through 2 spaces. So if you started on the foredeck, in a turn, you could say go through the officer cabins into the engine, or you could go through the forecastle into the galley, that sort of thing. And it takes 1 turn of movement to go aloft and reach the fore or main top. And if you have any questions on any of that, just ask me, I'll remind you, and we'll be good. All right. We ready to roll initiative here?
Yeah.
Yep. Let me go to my sheet. Initiative. Uh, uh, 10. Game zone.
Why, dice gods? Why?
Oh, misfortune's coming for you.
I mean, this isn't the only game where I've been attacked by misfortune.
Oof.
It's like misfortune has a thing for me.
Always. Oh, I'm doing a lot of. I split these into groups. I'm still doing a lot of rolls. Haha.
Oh, boys, looks like we're going last.
You never know. I haven't rolled everything yet, so someone can still get a natty one.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting. Who's gonna go first? Ouch.
This is. Oof. Yeah, the dice gods are not favoring you as the party. Okay, I'm just going to write down what the initiative order is. Ooh, I'm going to find out real shortly if I have the power to pin that message to the thing, but I've also written it down in front of me on paper, so it'll be fine. So the first person is Gecko 1, and then Mildred. Diddy, Lotusss, and okay. So the order is one group of deck geckos gets to go first, then Bildrat, then Halzer, another group of geckos, another group of geckos, Benedetti, Lotusss, and Sebby. So the player characters are all last. This is fine. This is great.
This is
All right.
fine.
Everything's fine.
All right, the front. The front.
All right. So good news is this ship comes in closer, and even before they come in all the way, there is one final thing you see before people start swinging aboard and combat begins. This ship sheds its disguise kit. It is now close enough to see that the name that was on the front, what Abbigull had noticed, the polywog, for one, it's misspelled, and the G is backwards. And you know those curtain blinds where you pull them down enough, you let go, and they zoop back up and they roll a bit? That happens, and underneath is the ship's real name. This ship is the Shellback. And there's a loud squawking, "Hey!" from Abbigull. And like, she knows who this is. She knows who this is now. She is familiar with the Shellback. And with that, initiative begins, and the first, these geckos all swing on board, and one group of them, these guys, there's 3 of them, they just immediately peel off. They don't care about any of you. They basically just like dash past all of ya and head straight for going down below.
Oh,
They are disappearing down below. They run to the front into the forecastle. You can't see them anymore. They're gone.
Yes. Does any of them pass my my range?
Ooh. Ships are tight quarters, so I'd say, yeah, fair assumption.
So, for those who, at least one of them is going to be hit by Sebby.
All right. Yeah, roll to... One is going to range close to you. I guess it's sort of like a reaction thing. Roll to hit. Roll to see if you manage to catch him as they dart past you.
Okay, let me see. 1d.
Okay. 320, that definitely overcomes their AC. Yeah. 3 are making a break for it. 2 get past you about 1. What do you do to stop him, Sebby?
He's gonna slash him with his. He's gonna stop him with his fist.
Is this the thing where you just like hold out your fist and let him run into it?
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, roll damage. With a fist that's unarmed.
So DC plus 4. It's 3 plus 4. So 3 bludgeoning plus 4.
3 bludgeoning plus 4, that's 7 points? Okay. Oh, gecko. 1, 7. Okay, so you just absolutely catch him. This gecko reels. He goes, ow, 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 holding their nose. Just ow, 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 ow. The other two, yeah.
Sebby sort of says, "Where do you think you're going?"
Ow! And the other two don't even stop. They leave this guy behind. They are on a mission. They are beetling down below. They've disappeared. Next in the initiative order is Ildrat. And he has positioned himself atop the mainmast. He's going to take aim with his crossbow and aim for a gecko. So, short bow. It's 1d6 plus 2. Okay, so. Rolls 2. I think it's just straight d20. Okay, that hits. This crossbow fires. It hits. And that's 1d6 plus 2. Oh, that is full damage. That is full damage. 6 plus 2 is 8 points of damage. Alright.
Nice.
So that is... Okay, so yeah, it just spears one of these geckos, and they also go, ah! But, not down, still going, and these geckos are like all readying their weapons stuff. They're ready to go. Next in the initiative is Hauser. And what Hauser's going to do is he reels back one arm, and it looks like he kind of throws it at a gecko, and it seems like it's too far away. But the ropes that he's made of unravel. His arm unravels, they shoot out to cross the distance, and he's going to attempt to grapple a gecko in place. So that'd just be against their AC. Holy, another 18 Okay, yep. Grabs that gecko. This gecko is now grappled and rolling. Well, not the gecko's grappled. He's just going to try and slam it into the ground. So since that's unarmed. D4. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, he's got grappled, just kind of slams it against a bulwark, takes some damage. This gecko is still grappled, so it's easy pickings for other people if they'd also like to go for the same guy. Next up, we got geckos on the deck, and these ones, they're not looking like they're wanting to go anywhere. These guys are specifically squaring off to face all of you. 2 of them, 3 of them, have already taken some damage, but they're still, looking like a general healthy unit. And that just means one is going to come at Sebby, since Sebby dealt some damage against one of its fellows. Oh. Oh.
Good luck getting an armor class of 18.
It doesn't hit. That does not hit. This gecko comes at Sebby with a sword, doing like a little brave yell, swings, misses entirely.
I imagine the sword, he just goes clang.
Yeah, just hits off the armor. The armor does its job. Sebby is
Sebby sort of
not affected at all.
Impressed? I put armor behind my clothes, and he sort of shows shows a little bit of shining armor underneath his regular attire.
The gecko makes a face. Okay, so finally we get some players. Ben, it's your turn.
Mine, right?
Yes.
Alright, since this scene already got spicy, he pulls out a mic and begins the narration. And it goes something like this. The say screw up the Ames and inhabit and we present to this unique event, which is some sort of pirate toward the crew of this ship. While doing this, he's gonna do 2 things. First, cast Bane on the 3 of the geckos that are around.
Oh.
So they're gonna make a charisma save roll.
Okay.
3 of them.
3 of them. All right. Charisma save roll. Is that just a D20? Or what is their charisma? What is a reskinned bandit's charisma? +0.
Yeah, save? No.
None of them do well.
None of them do. The narrative, like it's the narrative kind of curses them. So every time they roll for an attack or saving throw, you roll a 1d4 and subtract that.
So every time they attack, it's a 1d4 minus whatever they do.
Yes, and as a bonus action, I'm gonna use the bardic inspiration towards Sebby. It's 1d6.
Woo! Alright. Sebby has bardic inspiration. Alright. And that concludes your turn, I take it?
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is it's just narrating really good.
As all bards do. Okay, Lotusss, your turn.
I'm gonna go into the lower decks to follow the group that ran in there.
Okay, so with your regular 30 feet movement, that is going to bring you to the galley. You'll kind of be right in the door of the hold. That's your regular 30 feet. If you want to expend more movement to get further in, you can. Or you can do something else.
I'm gonna just do 30 feet.
Okay. Alright. So that means you'll kind of just reach the entrance of the hold following after these geckos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see any of them in there?
You're catching the tail end of them as they all disappear into this labyrinth of boxes. So you've seen where they've gone. They're now hidden by all like the stuff that's in here, but they're in a hurry. They're not being quiet. You can pretty much tell where they are.
I was gonna say if I could still see one, I was gonna use my bow.
Well, you know what? That's cool. So you can still. There was one that was lagging behind a little. You've lost one, but there's one that's still in sight.
Okay. So, bow attack. Let's see actions. Longbow. Okay. So, attack. So it'd just be. Do I have proficiency with that? Proficiencies. I don't know. Is bow martial weapon, right? Or is it simple weapon? Or
I don't know. So I think if anyone knows, speak up. Otherwise, I'll make a call on that. Or hell, I'll take a quick peek in the coconut gallery to see if people know offhand. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll say that's a martial weapon.
okay.
I don't know. Both are. They're not spears. They're more.
I have proficiency in both, so.
Oh, okay.
So what would proficiency in that be? Like a D20 plus. To hit, like.
You should have a proficiency bonus on your sheet.
I see that.
It's Lotusss, right? I see proficiency bonus is +2 for you.
Okay. So then, okay, so D20 +2 to hit, and that is in game zone. Exclamation point, D20 +2. 18.
Yeah, that beats their AC. Roll damage.
Okay, 1d8 +2 damage. Ah. 1d8 +2.
9 damage. Hot mama. Alright, so.
Almost full damage. One away.
Yeah. No kidding. Alright, so kind of just before this gecko is about to disappear, Lotusss, you pull back your bow, you shoot, you nail him. You absolutely nail him. Just as he's disappearing around the corner, he's like, what the, Alright, and that's Lotus's turn, I believe.
Yep.
Finally. Last but not least. We are at the bottom of initiative, and it is Sebby.
So now it's Sebby's turn.
Yep.
Alrighty. How close is the nearest foe?
The nearest foe would be the one you clocked in the face. That will be your nearest foe.
I'm going to hit him with my cutlass, or in this case, my scimitar.
All right. Unexpected. Huh. Okay, yeah, that hits. These are reskinned bandits, so they do not have high AC. And maybe you even kind of get the sense they weren't expecting this level of fight, actually. So, Sebby, once again, this poor gecko, it tried to hit you, it failed, you whip out your own sword in kind, and you just chop. How much damage do you do? Respectable damage 6. Okay, so this gecko.
Yeah. Is the guy down and out?
Yeah, it hits this gecko, sways on their poor feet, and they just kind of go like, oh man, oh, and they are unconscious on the deck, crumpled at your feet.
And Sebby says, all right, and stay down, Sebby says, as he puts his cutlass on his shoulder.
Okay, and we're back to the geckos that are down below in the hold.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. So, we got 2 geckos in the hold, one of the big ol' arrow sticking out of them that stuck them pretty good. But these guys are not stopping. They have a mission, and they seem to know pretty well where they're going. They're a bit turned around, but their movement is basically in this turn just to beetle, to do... Lotusss, you can't quite see what they're doing, but you can certainly hear it, because here these 2 with your ranger ring split off to different parts of the hold. There's like a smack as their sticky little gecko hands hit a certain points on the wall, and above you in the hold, Lotusss, there are cargo doors that open up on the deck that allow things to be carried up and out of there. Those doors are now opening. So for the people fighting on deck, there's going to be very shortly a great big gaping hole in the middle of your battlefield. And that's going to be those geckos' turn. It's now Bildrat. And yeah, he's just going to load his crossbow again. He's going to try and sight another hit on a gecko. You know, he's sitting up here just being a sniper. Life is not good, but you know, he's far away from the action. He likes that. Okay. That is their AC, so... Damn, if it's right on the AC, is that a hit or a miss? Anyone know? I'm going to say just because you guys have all managed to land your hits so far for this 12, 12s are going to miss. Bildrat takes his aim, he fires. The bolt just misses, like grazes him, thunks into the deck. And You all just hear Abigail yell from the helm, "No putting holes in my deck!" And Bildrat just kind of goes like, "Sorry." And that's Bildrat. Hauser. He still has a gecko grappled in his stretched out arm ropes. So that's great. He's just going to whack him around again. I don't think I remember the +2 strength last time, but iron grapple plus a strength. Six damage. Alright. Once again, just whacks this gecko around again, and it's barely looking together. And barbarians get 2 attacks, so just to finish him, Hauser just kind of looks at this guy, does another whack. And, yeah, this particular gecko is down. Unconscious. Think it'd be it's an action for Hauser to retract his arm and get it back. So the thing is down, but he'll need to expend a turn next time to retract his arm back. That's Hauser's turn. And now, it's time for some geckos to retaliate. Hauser just did that, so we're going to say 1 goes at Hauser. No, a 4 does not hit him. Yeah, this gecko takes a swing with their own sword, another big hee-yah! And Hauser's a big guy. You'd think he'd be pretty, maybe easy to hit. But not only is the swing a little off, the ropes that make up Hauser's body just shift a little. It makes a little divot in his torso that lets the sword swing on past, and those ropes readjust, and he's back to his usual shape. And this is a group of geckos, so the next one is... it's not taking kindly to the fact that Ben is just, grinning, almost maniacally. Seems to not care about this at all. Is straight up recording them. It looks like he can see at least 2 cameras. What the hell? Not pleased. Oh, I forgot to do the -4 in attack. Well, didn't matter, Miss Hauser, anyway. So, another gecko's going to take a swing at Ben. Ben in his grinning mug. Nope. No, not at all.
That'd be like a -1 because the minus, or no, you didn't roll the d4 for the minus. Yeah.
So, this gecko trips. Trips over a bit of line that's, Abigail likes to have a neat ship. Lines are coiled, they're on their pins, they're very neat. We're not a pigsty here, but all these people are now clambering all over the place. Things are getting kicked around. He trips on a loose coil and just eats shit. Okay, and with that, Ben, it's your turn.
Alright. You say the gecko the gecko who attacked me tripped down, right?
Oh yes, he's prone.
Can I simply put my knee on him for him to step in and down? We're still recording the action.
Yes.
Sit on him while you're recording, yes.
Right?
Just sit on him while you're recording. I could use a seat. Just sits down on him.
That's very good. Are you gonna do anything else, or are you just sitting down and laying back?
Uh, the other guy of the players, the from from Hazard, I believe, or I want to do another the bonus section to lend another bardic inspiration to the other member of the team. I kind of
Okay,
forgot the name.
Lotusss
What?
is a site. Does bardic inspiration still work if you can't see them, or does it have
Oh,
someone in sight?
oh, he went inside.
Yep,
All
Lotusss is
right,
below.
all right. Let me then. I don't think that work. I'm gonna use enhance ability on myself. The range road. So this guy, so I can keep this guy pinned down. We were still narrating. Even if the sea scroll the honest ring a bit him tend to be some sort of mindless fury. They trying with all their meat to harm us. Without success apparently.
That's incredible. For enhance abilities, are you picking an ability to enhance?
Yes, it has several. It has several for every ability. Let me remind. It is the one of boost strength. So I have advantage on strength checks.
Oh, good. Oh, I just hope you continue sitting on this guy through the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay. Take it that's the end of your turn then with that bonus action. Lotusss.
Yeah.
Okay, Lotusss. The cargo doors are opening. Since you're pretty further down the initiative than the other guys, yeah, it's mostly open. Doors are mostly open. You're still kind of in the entrance of the hold. You have a pretty good idea of where these geckos are, or just were.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the hold and pursue.
Alright. So, I'd say roll survival, like tracking to track down one or both of these geckos if they're together.
Okay.
And I'd say that's like your movement to get to one.
Yeah. Survival. So, what does it mean if you have a little black dot next to the skill?
That is.
The little black dot means that you have like some kind of proficiency bonus in it.
Oh, okay.
So, looking at Lotusss, your survival, you're proficient, and it's a +3.
Ah. Okay. Oof.
Oof.
Oh, I put it in the wrong spot.
Okay. I was like, that hasn't loaded for me.
I put it in the wrong spot.
Well, let me see what you got. Okay, 10. Well, that's not great. I'd say, yeah, you pick one. You start going the direction you last heard him. And again, you don't like straight up catch up to them, but you just kind of catch the tail end of one as they're scampering away. They've moved back from the walls. They now seem to have a different target, are moving somewhere else. You're catching the tail end of one in sight
Yeah.
from a distance.
I'm gonna assume they're going after the dust.
Yeah. So let's just say, are you going to use your movement then to get to where you think they're going?
Yeah, to the dust. The
Okay.
important thing.
The thing this whole venture is named after. All right.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm just going to say use your usual 30 to get to the crate, and sure enough, these two geckos are there, and they are unlatching all the things that are tying this thing down. And they're not done. They're not nearly done. There's a lot, but they're working on it. And the cargo doors are now fully open. Sunlight is streaming down. Yeah.
I want to poke one with the Yakula. Just stab.
Just a little stab, as a treat.
Yeah. Yeah, as a treat. For their excellent maneuvers.
Lotusss can have a little stab. All right. Roll to attack.
So D20 and proficiency is
This is rolling to hit.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, I thought proficiency was for the attack, not the damage. Maybe that's for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm playing fast and loose. Yeah, add it. Why not?
I don't remember what was it again? The modifier for attack.
Your proficiency modifier, Lotusss, is +2.
+2. Okay. So D20 +2.
Okay. An 11 does not beat their AC. So Lotusss, she rears back for a big ol' stab, and I guess the gecko kind of gets a sense that, oh snap, something's behind him, and he goes, ah! And he just manages to duck. That's I forget what it's called. It's basically a spear. Comes in, thunks into the crate, and digs into the wood, and both you and the geckos freeze. All three of you just look at this crate, and you're like, huh. And the crate, it jolts with the movement. You can hear something you can hear stuff shifting inside. But you all breathe a sigh of relief when it seems, actually, you know what this is? This is time to do a roll.
Oh no.
See how bad this is. Okay. So, the crate shakes. It wobbles. But I was working with a thing that, low was stable and high was unstable, so 5 is actually fine. You all look at this, and it shakes, it stabilizes, something shifting around inside, but things seem to calm down. And the crate does not break apart, does not explode, it does not do anything. It is still together. And that's your turn. Sebby, your turn.
Where is the nearest enemy?
Okay, you knocked out the one that was nearest to you, so I think they're all kind of just trying to generally spread around the deck. There's 2, I'm going to say, that are near you. Pick a gecko to attack.
Yeah, I'm going to attack one of them.
Woohoo, yep, you hit. Roll me damage. A 5, okay.
And as follow-up,
What's that?
is the lizard still standing?
This lizard is still standing. They're still standing, but they don't look like they're doing terribly great, and they're kind of looking at you like, oh man, because
He's going
you and
to.
Hauser, pretty much you are like, you're just kind of picking these guys off, and then Ben's just being intimidating, not doing anything, sitting there narrating everything as they get hit.
Guess what? Thunderous smite.
Okay, I'm guessing that's like a channel divinity thing.
Oh, it's a spell.
Okay.
First off, you're going to need to roll a strength save of 12.
Okay, let's see if this gecko can do that. That's a straight d20 plus nothing. Okay, I have 14. I take it that saves then?
It doesn't get thrown, but it takes an extra 2d6 thunder damage.
Oh boy! 2. Right, so 2d6 thunder damage. Do you roll that damage or do I? Yep, you do. Wow. That could have gone way worse.
Yeah.
I was expecting that to be way worse.
Plus,
So this particular gecko
takes 4 more damage. It's 3 plus 4.
3 plus 4. Okay. So that's actually like... Okay, so this gecko just gets hit with a thunderous smite. Well, what does that look
Plus
like?
4 damage from Thunderous Smite. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
And he sort of like as he strikes the lizard, he says, "By the goddess of the seas and storms, be blown away!" And as the cutlass strikes the body, this sort of mystic steam foam sort of spreads out and sort of bursts into thunderous boomings.
Nice. So this gecko gets hit with that, takes that damage, and sways on their feet for a moment, and yeah, they're down. They drop to the deck. So there's now like 2 unconscious deck geckos on the deck. One that is just being sat on by a bard who doesn't seem to get a care in the world, and the others is like, there's 4 left, and they're all looking at each other. There's now, well, if you count Bill Drat way off, it's 4 against 4 now. This is not as even a fight as it started. And also, the terrain is getting tricky because a big old hole is now in the middle of the deck. And as a thunderous smite happens, Sebby, you all actually hear like a cheer from the helm where Abbigull's just like, yeah, woo! Okay. And we're back to the top heap initiative, but before we actually do that, Abbigull's been at the helm. She's been seeing this all go down. She hasn't been able to help because she's been steering the ship. Her and Drogue working together to not just crash into anything, let alone the other ship that is right beside them. And Abbigull just kind of goes, okay, doors open, right, okay. Leans back, her head opens her beak wide, and yells at the top of her lungs, Jai-Po! And spins that wheel hard over. So everyone on deck, and Bildrat, who's aloft, Make me a dexterity saving throw.
I'm below deck, right?
Yes, Lotus, you don't have to do this. You're below deck.
Ouch!
That one. Dang, that's big oof.
Big oof. Okay, and I need to do that for other people. Okay, so. What is
Sebby
dexterity?
is experienced with ships like this, so he's not really phased by this.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Bildred, dexterity, +2. Bildred is also used to ships. He's fine.
Like, what a day for birds.
This is the flaw with having a lot of NPCs to keep track of. That's Hauser. Hauser's also fine. And this will just be a roll for all geckos currently on deck, all 4 of them. Okay. So, when Abbigull spins that wheel and yells, "Jibe ho," what she's doing is a warning that a jibe is about to happen, which means the ship is making a sharp turn, her stern is going into the wind, and just due to the physics of that, at the bottom of 2 of these sails, there's these heavy wooden spars. And on a jibe, a sudden one like this especially, they're going to whip across the deck at speed, just go boom. So the deck save was to not get hit by a big wooden spar.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the first one too. Ben, you got a 5. You get whacked. You got a bit of ice. Your perch upon the gecko is a fine place to be, and you're having a grand old time narrating what's going on, but that puts you at height for, like, your head and shoulders to be in the way of this boom. You get whacked. You're going to take 1d8 bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
And then next up, Sebby got a dirty 20. Sebby, you know what's up. You hear a jibe-ho. You may have even felt the ship turning and had taken note of the way the wind was going. You're like, oh, okay. And you plant your feet and you duck.
Indeed.
Bildrat is quite concentrated on being a sniper, but he hears the call. He's aloft. This would have been very bad for him if he failed. But he hooks his arms in the rigging. He holds on, and movement is exaggerated the further up you go on a ship. So he's actually knocked around quite a lot, but he stays in place. Hauser, similar deal to Sebby. He just knows what's up, plants his feet, just lets hit the ropes that make up his body pull to the ground to let the boom pass over, and pull back up. Slick dodge. And then the geckos. Oh, the geckos. They don't pass the decks. These geckos, all 4 of them, they get whacked by this boom. They're going to take bludgeoning damage as well. And with that roll, one of them is going to be knocked clear off the deck, just carried by the boom, splash into the water. There is a sound effect like a strike in bowling, just bowling pins. And that gecko is out. So there's 3 left. They're each going to take a d8 of bludgeoning damage. So we'll just roll a 3d8.
I take the damage too, right?
What's that?
I take the bludgeoning
Oh,
damage
yes.
too, right?
Yes, you do. Please roll me a d8.
Alright, 4.
Oof. Okay, so Ben, you take 4 damage. All the geckos take more than 4 damage. They're all on the upper end, so their collective health. Oh, they're not looking good at all. They all get knocked about. One of them's blown clear off the deck into the sea, and they all look bad. They look bad. They're like they've got birdies and stars circling around their heads, and they're trying to shake them off. They've just been hit. Ironically, the gecko that Ben's sitting on, totally fine. Still prone, still being sat on, totally fine. And so, with this, you actually hear from the quarterdeck, all right, I think that is quite enough. And that gets everyone's attention. It was a fairly loud shout. You all look back to where the voice came from, to the quarterdeck, to the helm. Drogue is there, as he's been the entire time, with Abbigull, but he's got his sword out, and it's to Abbigull's neck. She just kind of goes, and just doesn't move. Still has her wings on the helm, just keep them steering, but she's not really moving. There's a sword at her neck.
There's a traitor.
There's a traitor among us. So, yeah, we've now got a bit of a hostage situation going. I'm going to say that's kind of the end of initiative combat. How do you all react? What are you going to do? Lotus, you don't see this is happening because you're below deck. The sightline doesn't really let you see.
Neck.
Say again?
Who has a knife to whose neck?
The first mate, Drogue, who is a frilled lizard, I hope I mentioned that earlier, has his own sword out, and it is held to the captain of the ship, Admiral Abbigull.
You double-crossing, lily-livered piece of salt water.
Alright, I get off from the boom. Like, whipping my shirt, putting up my hair. And that's a really good drama. I, of course, record it.
Are you like moving the mage hand camera to get like a better angle?
Yeah.
Okay, Drogue kind of eyes this.
That's getting closer, please.
Yeah. This mage hand moves closer. Drogue is not looking happy that you're recording this, honestly, but he's also a bit busy making sure his whole like hostage situation to stop the fighting goes well. So he kind of like lets us go for now, but he's like distinctively eyeing these cameras and eyeing you, all of you.
Except me because I'm below deck.
Lotus is below deck. You still got 2 geckos down there, actually, so we're going to do a smash cut to Lotus and the geckos below deck, who don't know that this is happening because they can't see it. They might hear it, though, but I'd say because the geckos down below were next in the order anyway, they have finished unlashing this crate, and they now turn their attention to you, Lotus, because they can't exactly go trying to lift this thing out of here while you're there in their faces, trying to stab them. So, both of them are, I think, going to try and take swings at you. So I lied. I guess we're still kind of half in combat.
Okay.
So one takes a swing. I assume that doesn't hit.
No.
The other
Doesn't hit either.
both of them, they move at once to get you, but in doing so, they actually smack into each other and foil each other's attempts.
Brilliant.
Oh, okay, so that's their attack. They still have movement. What do they want to do? They are going to... Well, they don't want to leave, because they want to get the crate moving, but they've kind of failed to neutralize you in any meaningful capacity. So, I think that's just the end of their turn. Lotusss. Your go.
I'm gonna stab one again. D20 plus 2. 21.
Okay, so yeah, that'll hit a gecko. Roll your damage.
Damage for the Yakula is 1d8. Two. 2 damage.
Okay. Yeah. You successfully stab a gecko this time. And yeah, they take that 2 damage and they're just like, ow, ow, ow. And they move back. It is the gecko's turn again. The hold is fully open. I'd say at this point, this is probably where Drogue's showing his true colors. But you don't know this. You don't know this. And neither do these geckos. They're a bit concentrated on not getting stabbed. So again, they're both gonna try to take you out again because there's 2 of them and 1 of you, and they're going to try to learn from past mistakes and not hinder each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
that hits.
1 definitely does. 1.
Let me check.
13 hit.
Let me check that. That is exactly my armor class.
That is exactly your armor class. Earlier when this happened to me, I said an exact was a miss. So to keep ourselves consistent, at least within this game, the first one hits you, the other just misses.
Yes. So how much damage do they do?
Well, let's find out. It's a 1d6 plus 1.
Oh boy. 2 damage.
3 damage.
Or 3 damage.
Yeah, so they get you.
Points. Oh, I'm at 22 health. Then it's my turn?
Yep.
I'm gonna stab the one that hit me. Okay, so that is 20 plus 2. Dang it.
No, actually, their AC is 12, so
15.
you hit.
Okay.
Roll damage. Oh!
8 damage.
The full deal! Okay. So.
Full damage.
Forget to add your modifier.
I thought the modifier went to... Oh, modifier. I thought that went to the attack, not the damage. Does that go to damage?
Yes, it goes to damage.
Oh. Modifier was plus 2.
May as well. So we can keep that 8 and just add the 2 to it for a 10. Yeah. Full damage.
10 damage is...
Holy
enough to down him?
It's enough to down this particular gecko. They go down. There's 1 gecko left. They look at you, and it is their turn. And they go, and they use their movement to scramble backwards, use their little sticky gecko peetsies to climb up the crate, get on top, which puts them, not quite on head level with the deck, but they shout out, I could use a little help here, both for lifting and for slashing, please. And this gets a reply from one of the geckos on deck who goes, yeah, I think we can help you. Things are pretty handled up here. Old boss has, got things covered. And so the guy just goes like, wait, covered how? And they kind of, I guess they do a little jump, they peek up, and I'm going to say they get a scope of what's happening. They see that things are at a standstill. Turn to look at Lotusss and just go, oh, buddy. Oh, I wouldn't hurt me anymore if I were you. Not unless you want your boss, the gal paying you, to not be able to pay you. Stand down.
As this goes on, Sebby sort of glares at the traitor and says, I have a better idea. How about you and me duel for it? And he's going to cast Compel Duel.
Okay, is this like a sort of save that Drogue has to make? How does this work?
It's a save. A wisdom, to be exact.
Wisdom save. Okay. Let's see what Drogue's wisdom is. It's a straight D20. And how does he do?
It's sort of just not enough.
Okay, so that's a fail?
Yep.
Drogue just looks at Sebby like he's stupid. He's just like, I'm not dueling you, that's dumb. I've already won. Like, if this is an honor thing you're counting on, I don't have that. I think we've established.
As this happens, some sort of aura starts to radiate off of Sebby, like a storm cloud sort of brewing inside of him.
Is this just a general aura that's happening?
Yeah, general aura that's happening.
Okay.
When Sebby is really just ticked off.
Alright. So yeah, I'd say all around we are out of combat. Lotusss, I assume you are standing down hearing that things have kind of gone to bits above deck. So Drogue just kind of goes like, yes, that's very nice. Okay. Alright. And he gestures to the geckos. Alright. Those of you who are still up, get down there. Get the crate up. We're going to shift her. Move her onto the ship. Get going. Shoo.
But before they do anything,
I wanted to sit on the crate.
So it's a jump to get from the hole into the crates. It's not going to be enough for fall damage, but it's a jump. Are you just moving there? Trying to?
Well, I'm 6'6", right? And the crate's
Lotusss.
slightly bigger than me, so I could just...
Crap, I thought Ben was talking. Oh. Okay. Yeah?
Yeah, I just want to sit on the crate. Just climb up and sit on the crate.
The one gecko that's there with you on top of the crate goes like, hey, what are you doing? Ah! And he readies to poke you, but if sitting is all you do, then the gecko just can keeps the sword trade on you while the four geckos, if my count is right, the one that Ben is sitting on is fine. Drogue addresses Ben, who he has a clear distaste for his lip curls, and he just goes, Mr. Wannabe Film Person, please get off minion number 4.
As this happens, Sebby's going to cast hideous laughter now.
Oh man. Remind me how Everyone has this. I'm just gonna see what. How do you cast Hideous Laughter? Creature choice proceeds. Everything's looks funny.
Yeah, I got called, right, to get off the the gecko.
Okay.
Save.
And just keep filming with almost a defiant stare. That gecko is not moving.
And we'll do this and then try the Tasha City Savage thing. Drone's just like, I don't know if you've noticed, but what's happening here is a bit serious. I have a sword at someone's neck. What are you doing? And yeah, he's just gonna do a quick cut on Abbigull, show he needs business. Hello? It's not like you. So that's gonna be, since it's just a little cut.
He's doing a what? Excuse me.
Sebby is trying to do Tasha's Hideous Laughter on Drogue.
Oh,
With the charisma for the save.
Yeah, so is Drogue just rolling a d20 plus his charisma?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's plus nothing.
He fails.
Okay. Are you telling a bad joke to make him start laughing? Or is he just going to find the entire situation?
That's a joke.
And Sebby sort of says, well, guess you have a lizard down.
If that's a joke, I'll have you know there is a piece of sailing terminology. There is a bit that is actually called a lizard, and maybe just punctuate your statement. I don't know, a literal lizard on his own ship. I don't know, by divine fates falls to deck just based on the fact that he failed his roll.
Yeah.
To that, and to the successful spell cast. Drogue's a giggler. Starts giggling. And yeah, it's going to distract him some. So I'm going to say, seeing this, Abbigull is going to attempt to, it's basically grapple. Get out of this grapple.
oh.
+1.
Oh
my god!
That's not good!
It's not one! She takes damage from trying this. The sword nicks her. He doesn't even need to do it on purpose, but the sword gets her. So that's... What the hell is sword damage? Hold on. Rapier, it's a D8 +2!
Oh no!
Drogue thinks this is hilarious and laughs harder. Abbigull takes 4 damage. And she's still grappled. And
I'll stop to try and get the bird free from the lizard's grasp.
I'd say we're not in an official combat, so we don't exactly have turns going. But let's wait a bit on the next time Sebby tries something and see how this progresses. So we'll let a few more things happen first.
Okay.
But noted. Alright, so where Lotusss is now sitting on the crate, the geckos have jumped down to start moving this thing up. Ben, you're still sitting on a gecko, right? Campu?
Excuse me?
I was just trying to remember where we all were. Ben is still sitting on his gecko perch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still recording when he asked her to get up. He just
Okay.
keep recording almost with
This-
definitely. Yeah.
this gecko, seeing that it's time to like move potentially heavy things, doesn't actually try to get out from under you. He has accepted his fate. He's just going to use this as an excuse not to go lifting heavy things. This is his fate now. He's a sitting perch. He's going to stay here.
Best way to get out of doing work. Just
Yes, exactly. It's exactly like the owl who like pretended to get murdered on the Owl Express that had in time. Woohoo! So, 3 geckos have jumped down. They're all eyeing Lotusss pretty rarely because she's just sitting on top of this crate, but apparently not doing anything, just adding weight. They go to lift this thing. You know, they bend with their knees, they lift with their back. Let's roll a d20. Plus strength for them, which is all 0. How do they do? Okay, it's a struggle. You know, they bend their knees, they lift them back, and it is heavier than they expect. They go, oof, okay. And they get it, they manage it, they're moving things, it's slow, but even with accounting for the weight of Lotusss, just is Lotusss sitting in Lotusss position? I have to ask.
yes.
Yes. Lotusss sitting very serene in Lotusss position just on the center of this crate. Even accounting for that, this crate seems awful heavy for something that's filled with pixie dust, which is supposed to make things float, make them light. And seeing the kind of unexpected struggle his minions are having, even for just the 3 of them, Drogue kind of, through giggles, looks down at Abbigull, just like, oh, look at them go. Oh, those poor little idiots. Oh, you get me paid for. Admiral, this seems awfully heavy. And Abbigull, who's just very lightly steering the ship, being very careful, she's already been a bit cut, just goes, well, I'm not feeling a whole lot of faith and trust on this ship, Drogue, are you? Drogue just goes like, fair enough, I suppose, fair enough. Come on, you lizards. Heave more better.
Still laughing while commanding.
Still laughing. He thinks he's finding everything about this hilarious, especially since it's still kind of going his way. The crate's on the move. And with a final heave, that crate is slid up to rest on deck. There's barely room for it to fit because the cargo doors are open. And I assumed, how long does Tasha City's laughter last? It's probably a while.
A while. Like
creature of choice. Duration 1 minute. Huh, not as long as I thought.
I was imagining during that time Sebby would grab the captain from this traitor's hands.
Okay, unfortunately you're all still kind of on the middle of the ship, the foredeck. Drogue and Abby are still back at the helm. So it's not really grabbing distance, but if you got anything else you want to try.
I don't know, does the pirate have a flintlock?
Yeah, if you've got long-range weapons, you could certainly give a go. The geckos themselves are all kind of distracted. They're recovering, wheezing from moving this thing.
With me on top of it.
Yes.
Javelin.
A javelin. All right. Thirteen. What is... That is his armor class. And keeping consistent with what we've been doing, hitting exactly on an armor class is a miss. But, like, it's a bare miss. It's dirt. I was going to say feathers. This guy's got scales. It, like, skims past the scales on him. And he just goes, hey! Hey, now. And it just... feel like that probably... It's been a minute. Maybe breaks Tasha's hideous laughter. That sobers him up. And he just goes, I have a hostage. Hello? And just sort of jiggles his arm for emphasis on Abbigull. And Abbigull just goes like, well, fine. So say you got me. Fine, crate's up. Who knows what you want this pixie dust for, but fine. Say you got me. The least you could do to spare my dignity is to... Where's the actual captain of the Shellback? Where are they? Where's that terrible terrapin? Too coward to face me himself, is he? And Drogue, entering villain monologue mode, just goes, oh, that guy? No, he's not here. That terrible terrapin, as you put it, is swimming with the fishes, actually. Just sort of examines the nails of his free hand. Although, depending on how fast he swims in his old age, may have reached land by now, but not here. Admiral, look at me. I am the captain now. I am the captain of the Shellback.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now.
Very happy one at that.
Yes. Look at me. I am the captain now. That's my ship. This is now my cargo to be delivered to my client. What can I say? You've lost. Thing is, Abbigull, you and Captain Sham of the Shellback, well, quite frankly, you're old. You're outdated. This isn't the Prohibition era anymore. This isn't root beer running and soda smuggling. Reputations have faded. Look at you, reduced to general cargo shipments, maybe something a little spicy if people pay extra, you think it's interesting. It's time to get new blood in the game, Admiral. Times have changed. It's moving on without you. And with that, he snaps his fingers, he gestures at one of the geckos who's wheezing from recovering, moving this crate, and just goes, you, up here, handle this ship. Take the helm from the good old Admiral here.
Before that, Sebby's going sort of in anger with the storms now just sort of brewing further, is going to stand in the way.
Of the gecko?
Yep.
Okay. The gecko stops. He doesn't want to tangle with Sebby. Sebby has been pretty single-handedly with Hauser thrashing these guys, and just sort of goes eh. And Drogue's just Mr. Oh, I forget your name. Who cares? Stand aside, or the Admiral gets it. I don't know what else to tell you.
You're quite dishonorable, you know that?
Yep. Your point? Yes.
To me, that's an insult. For you see, the old ways of the pirates still hold true. And he sort of unsheathes his cutlass and says, and I plan to keep on that life.
Drogue says, well, I've always found a pirate's honor to be more guidelines than actual rules.
You're cutting off?
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Drogue says, I've always found a pirate's honor to be more like guidelines than actual rules. But you know what? How is this for honor? Maybe this is honor. You can keep the ship. I'm just taking the crate. And motions for his geckos to start moving that crate again. Get it on the Shellback. I'll just take care of this, and we'll go. Say again.
I'm still sitting on it.
Is it still sitting on it? Drogue just kind of looks at Lotusss, who's still sitting on it. She's I've had a look at the Admiral's finances. She's not exactly swimming in cash. If you want along, I can pay you more. And you know what? Just insult to injury. How about the rest of you? I don't think Mr. Pirate's Code here is going to take it, but little cameraman Hauser, Bildrat leans up to look at Bildrat. Pay you double. Coming along?
I'm gonna stand up and just stab the crate with my spear thing.
Roll it. You roll a d20.
Okay. Just a d20?
Just a straight d20. We'll see how the crate likes this. Low is good, high is bad. Okay. Lotusss stands up from her Lotusss position, her very serene Lotusss position, and I guess upon hearing this offer of double payment from Drogue, this is in response, right?
Yeah.
Just silently in response, just raises up her weapon, stabs straight down, and this goes deep into the wood. And it's directly down between a seam. 15 is enough. And this whole crate shakes, and it rumbles, and the gecko's back up in a panic, and Drogue is just like, what are you? Why? What? And the crate collapses up from underneath you, Lotusss. You're going to take a little tumble, and everything is going to get absolutely blasted by a sparkling, glittering substance. It just goes everywhere. It's like a bomb. It goes off, and the geckos are panicking because for quite a lot of you, there's nothing nearby to grab hold on to if you start floating into space. So the geckos are all trying to hold on to each other. They're trying to hold on to other people. Then the one that you're sitting on grabs onto you for dear life. The one that Sebby was standing in front of grabs onto Sebby.
Hey! Wait! Before I walk away, can I try to catch some of the tools in a jar? This will be useful for my aerial comms.
Yeah, you can try to catch some of this in a jar. Glad to see you're thinking clearly when a volatile substance explodes. I'd say we'll call that like a hammer space thing. Roll me a d10.
My whole reasoning was just, if we don't get to deliver the goods, no one gets to deliver the goods.
Excellent! Okay, and then, yeah, you get your jar. You're going to try and catch stuff. And everyone's kind of like in a tizzy, in a panic. Ben, you've just been real calm through all this. I mean, your camera lenses are probably absolutely blocked up by this glittering substance. So maybe you're going to be a bit peeved off about that. But you catch some of this dust in your jar, and you take a look at it. And remind me, you were the one who knew what this stuff was, correct?
Dirty 20 on history to know what was it.
You sure did. So you look at this, and you go, hey, this isn't pixie dust.
Oh.
And everything just kind of stops, and people go, what? And the geckos look around, and Drogue takes a closer look. He and Abbigull were still in range, but they don't have as much on them. And everyone's just looking down at themselves and patting and going, what the? What? And Drogue just kind of goes, it's glitter.
It's just glitter?
Disbelievingly, a glitter bomb?
Just glitter labeled as pixie dust. I need to turn off events. I to the camera. Gosh darn! I hope the camera doesn't wreck off with the dust.
Yeah,
And
things might
Sebby
get
sort of
destroyed by the dinner.
looks at the stuff that he is covered in, the glitter. He sort of starts laughing, like.
Lotus is also laughing.
Lotus should
And any glitter that's just left over on the ground, she's like picking up and throwing in the air. Because it sparkles when it falls.
having a good old party. Okay. All three of you, please roll me a perception, and Drogue is going to do a perception too.
Perception. That would be perception +1. Okay.
Funny.
Oh, man.
I got
all
a dirty
rolled real
20.
well.
Oh,
Nat 20
Hazard
and
got a nat 20. Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
Finally, Lady Luck, you are looking at me.
Alright. So, this makes sense because you are all close to the crate, and Drogue is further away. So, Abigail just kind of goes like, what, a glitter bomb? Why? Oh, this traitor tricked me. Oh, a glitter bomb. Oh, what am I going to tell my client? Oh, this is a disaster. And she's just kind of like throwing her wings in the air, doesn't even care anymore because Drogue's sword is kind of lowered in sheer disbelief, like, at what has happened. And the three of you who are close by the crate notice that, it's all fallen apart. It's kind of like a prop you've hit over and it just collapses apart. You can see the bottom part of the crate, and it's pretty covered in glitter, but you're close enough to see that spray painted on the bottom is a little spray painted picture of Abigail, who seems to be winking, even though she's kind of always winking because she has a bad eye. And it's just a cheeky little better next time. Drogue, with his 12 and being far away, does not see this. He believes Abigail when she says she was tricked.
During this time, Sebby is still just laughing harder and harder because he knows this is happening. He's thinking to himself, this is like the old-fashioned tricks of the pirate. This is the good old rules of the pirates sort of thing.
Exactly. Lotus, you're still like throwing up glitter and having a party?
Yeah, just throwing the glitter into the air and letting it fall back down and throwing more into the air.
Oh. And, yeah. Ben, I take it you're still maybe clearing out your cameras to make sure they're still recording properly and not broken, but like having a grand old time yourself. So, oh, Campu, it looks like you're muted. What's up, buddy? Did we lose you?
I'm sorry, I'm muted.
I think you were quiet.
Yeah, I cleaned the camera so they don't like wreck up, and I finally leave the gecko free, the one I was using as a stool.
You release him. This gecko is the most glitter-free of anyone on the ship. You shielded him. And so, Drogue, just seeing this, like, his entire plot has been foiled. There's no pixie dust to be had. It was all a trick. They've both been hoodwinked. And he just kind of goes, well, you know what? Time to go. And he just gives Abigail a shove and makes a sprint for the edge of the deck, and he's going to
Oh, I was
try
gonna
to take
say,
a flying leap onto his own ship.
I was gonna say one thing. Maybe the pixie dust wasn't the pixie dust, but the friends we made along the way.
Hey!
Before that happens, Sebby commands him to stop.
Oh, command. I take it that's a spell?
Yep.
Alrighty. And what kind of save is that, I assume?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. That's a straight D20. Oh. Is that a fail?
Yep, that is a fail because the DC is 12.
Droke stops. He made it to like the railing and he stops dead.
I imagine this command is because this sort of storm starts to cloud over him, like sort of surround him and hold it in place.
Alright.
And
Go ahead.
he sort of walks up to him and says, All right. The only thing you're going to get is a pair of manacles.
I assume you probably can't command doing anything else, but he can be easily led around now while this effect is in place, I assume. So,
Yes.
Abbigull seems to pretty heartily approve of this. She's like, well, the brig's going to get a little crowded, but yeah,
Yes.
let's round him up.
Yes, and Sebby says to the captain and says to this traitor and says, All right, into the brig with you.
My favorite sentence, says Abbigull.
And the storm sort of like seemed to guide him into the brig, I imagine.
Yeah, so Hauser is going to start gathering up the conscious and unconscious geckos. I think he's just picking up the unconscious ones, slinging them over his shoulder. Bildrat, slides down to deck again, starts, rounding up the conscious ones. Lotusss and Benedetti, are you helping with this gecko roundup?
Yeah.
Yeah. Camera's rolling all the way.
Camera's rolling.
So, they all get herded downstairs. They're thoroughly outnumbered. Many of them are unconscious. And the brig is not a big space. The only thing in there is a jar that has a singular gecko stuffed inside it. But
The gecko jar.
The gecko jar. Normally, you would not be able to fit 12 people in here, basically. But due to rule of funny, I'm going to say clown car physics start applying, and with some kicking and shoving, they just all get crammed in there.
Yeah.
Shut the door, give it a lock, contained.
And Sebby...
Give the final narration. Even if this unforgivable land, even as bloodthirsty pirates or comfy footstalls, this guy seems to fail.
Sebby, after putting those folks putting the traitor and his gang in the brig, he sort of looks to the ship that is sort of there and sort of in the water. Says, looks like this guy's going to need a new captain.
And Abbigull looks and says, it just might. I mean, I was thinking I'd just tow her over to where we're going and deal with her there. But, afterwards, no captain right now.
I am good with ships.
All right, and I think with that, we are going to get underway again. The engines for the Salty Squabble were down this whole time, and Bildrat, who's out of the current professional crew here, probably the most mechanically inclined, takes a good look at it, and it takes a bit of tinkering and fiddling and looking at everything, but you guys get going. You're towing the shell back behind you. Yes, question?
Where's the brig on the map?
You know, that's a good point. Though an oversight. The brig is like a closet that's off the side of the hold. It's essentially a closet.
Okay.
So, it's slow going for a while because it's just sail power and you're towing a whole other ship behind you. But then eventually Bildrat gets the engines going and you start really get her going. So you arrive to a very discreet sort of singular dock. Later than intended, it's getting dark. But you arrive and you dock in and Abbigull turns to you all, claps her wings together and says, well, I don't think I could have asked for a better volunteer crew. Volunteer being the wrong word because now it is time to get paid. But temporary crew. Good job.
Hey, it's good to see some a scallywag like that in chains, as he points to the traitor.
Mm-hmm. And Abbigull points at Ben and says, now you best be giving me a copy of that film reel, you hear? I'm not really much for movies, but that, I think that is going to be something.
Oh yeah, this is just a part of what I play into this thing, but this portrays very much what I try to make people see.
Well then, I look forward to hearing how that goes for you. And then just kind of goes, all right, we're here. I've already given a hail to the local authorities about Drogue and his gang. They'll be along shortly. But, you know what? Follow me. Gestures for you all to follow.
Yeah. I'm following.
All right. She takes...
But I'm gonna first pocket some of the glitter, because glitter's cool.
Absolutely. So Abbigull takes you down the length of the ship, way to the back where you haven't really been. Not to where the helm is. There's a kind of deck below. Takes you past all that, and you're now on the aft deck. And Bildrat and Hawser have also followed. And she just kind of looks at y'all. Does the thing where she blinks, where it's meant to be a wink, but one eye is X'd out, so she just blinks. And then leans down and opens a hatch that's in the floor. And on the map, underneath that hatch, is a place called the Lazarette. It's a storage place on ships where, could be anything really. Storage space for buoys, extra ropes, whatever. She opens this up and goes, Bildrat, jump in there, will ya? Do the honors, pass it up. Bildrat goes like, yep. And he does like a little swan dive inside. And there's a bit of rummaging for a bit. And his hands pop back out, and they're holding, a barrel. Passes that up. Hawser takes it, sets it on the deck. And Bildrat comes up with 6 of these barrels. And they all get passed up and put on the deck. And Abbigull, who is looking supremely pleased with herself, just says, and that is the real pixie dust.
And Sebby sort of starts clapping to him and says, knew it all along.
Sure you did. Sure you did.
I mean, I did see that drawing of yours on the crate.
But that's not all along from the beginning. That doesn't quite count. But yes, it was a good trick.
Indeed.
If I had known, I would have just let them take it and mess up the ship.
Well, I mean, this will be a hell of a mess to clean up, but it's a job for the crew who have all abandoned me in my time of need and forcing me to get temporary crew. That's their job. They're coming back to a mess. It's fine.
Okay.
And I think with that, that about wraps up our adventure.
Imagines with Sebby takes that ship without a captain,
Yeah. Are you sailing off there just by your lonesome?
and he sort of looks to the others and says, "If you want, you can come with me."
I raise my hand and I'm just like, will there be meats?
I mean, there'll be exotic places, that's for certain.
Okay.
My way goes differently than the never-ending adventure of the sea. But if we cross again, I hope you offer a ride. I wish you luck.
As to you. And with that, Sebby sort of heads to the thing and starts and sort of sails away and singing the Song of the Seas. Oh, it's Cristobal, the Queen of the Seas. She once set me in all the sea. It's a wondrous world we live in. Cristobal, Queen of the Sea.
Delightful. I love that. And that's a good ending right there. And that was a special delivery. So I hope you had fun.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That was amazing. I loved it.
Good. I'm glad. I thought, I wondered if you guys would try to take over the ship while the geckos were on. I didn't think I'd end up giving you the ship.